Sie kennen bestimmt dieses Gefühl, Sie stehen am Strand, am Meer und Sie genießen diesen unendlich weiten Blick in die Ferne. Oder vielleicht haben Sie dieses Gefühl auch auf einem Berggipfel, dieses Gefühl der Freiheit. Und das ist für uns alle unheimlich wichtig, aber für die Künstlerinnen und Künstler ist das extrem wichtig. Und so lautet das Motto der diesjährigen ISA Unlimited. Herzlich willkommen zum Eröffnungsfest. Unlimited, that's what you want your musical powers to be. You want your imagination to be unlimited, and that's what's this year's theme. Welcome to the ISA 21. I'm Arabella Fenyves, and I'm delighted to lead you through this evening and to announce tonight's guests of honor. The Rector of the MDW, the University of Music and Performing Arts, Vienna, Ulrike Sych, is here. I'd also like to welcome to the opening event the Artistic Director of the ISA and the Vice Rector of International Affairs and Art at the MDW, Johannes Meissl. This amazing place, this amazing happening, all these events need a lot of supporters. And so I'd like to thank the Governor of Niederösterreich, Johanna Mikl-Leitner, and the Federal Province of Niederösterreich, the municipalities of Reichenau, Payerbach, and Semmering, and the entire region, and say thank you to all cooperating partners and supporters for their help. Today's events take place at the Literary Salon near Schloss Wartholz. I'm sure you can see why it's called the Literary Salon. And it's run by Christian Blacek, and I'd like to say thank you on behalf of the MDW and the ISA for us being able to be here. The castle, Schloss Wartholz, was a favorite summer spot for the Austrian royal family in the late 19th and early 20th century. And it became the formal residence of the royal family during World War I, when, of course, it was then the site of historic events during that time. Now, you probably couldn't miss the ample media coverage about the recent Olympic Games in Tokyo. And maybe you heard the story about a young Austrian cyclist who got a gold medal when nobody saw her coming. Nobody saw Anna Kiesenhofer coming, but she had it in her all the same. And the ISA 21 is all about unlocking your potential, pushing your musical boundaries, and also experimenting. For tonight's first performance, I'd like to welcome a trio from the neighboring country of Austria, from Czech Republic. They will play music by a Czech composer. His name is Bohuslav Martinů. And this trio really showed resilience during tough times in the last year through some successful benefit concerts and online series. They are also part of the prestigious ECMA program and are due to give their Wiener Musikverein debut in the coming season. Please, let's all welcome Trio Bohémo. The trio Bohémo. I loved how much energy you brought to the stage. Amazing, thank you so much. And I think that's something to aspire to for the students as well. That's what this festival was about from the beginning, bringing energy from all around the world and especially from this region and from the neighboring countries. So we have some exciting examples of Austrian contemporary culture coming up for you later this evening, which will let you delve into the German language a bit more with poetry and film. But first, I'd like to talk to two key figures who are very important for this festival, and I'd like to welcome them to the stage at this point. Welcome Vice Rector Johannes Meissl and Rector Ulrike Sych. See, it's a very hands-on festival. Thank you, Vice Rector. So, thank you very much for that. Ms. Sych, Ulrike, if I may. We're here in Reichenau, surrounded by the Austrian mountains, and there's a lineup of world-renowned musicians flocking here to teach the young talents. We have a lot of different genres going on in close proximity to each other. For me, this is kind of a magical atmosphere. Where does this magic come from? And why does the MDW go to such extreme lengths to make something like this happen every summer?
So I think the magic in this region is, it never changed. It's historically, it goes back 100 years, 150 years. This is the region where these great artists like Schnitzler, Kokoschka, Jaime Dodora, and Mahler, Werfel, so I could name now 1,000, the greatest artists. And all these artists, you can feel this, still the spirit of the artists. And this region, as you said at the beginning, was also the region for the summer freshness for the people from Vienna. Here the emperor, the nobles, rich people, artists met to have great summers away from the rushed and crowdy and noisy city, to come here to nature tranquility and calmness. And I think this is still the magic here, that we bring students from all over the world, we bring great artists from all over the world to a place where they get space to find to themselves, to come, to become tranquil, to go into tranquility, and this is, for my opinion, same important as to practice, to go from one lesson to the other. To become an artist means to have also time to develop as a person, and this takes time to sit down in tranquility, to think about things. And this is still the magic here, to get this calmness, what a development of artists need. You get through the nature here with the gorgeous view to the mountains, to the rocks, to the simmering. And this is the one part of your question and what I think about the magic here. The other thing is that for us, the MDW, it is very important that our students can meet students from all over the world and best teachers from all over the world, to discuss with them, to get lessons, to do the networking, and for me as a rector, or I may say for us as a rectorate, we discuss quality in a broader way, in a broader sense. For our university, quality and excellence is linked with an attitude. This is for us unnegotiable. The preservation of human dignity and human rights. And this means we believe that artists and researchers are ambassadors for peace, for transculturality, for diversity. And so all these wonderful people who come from all over the world to our ISA, and ISA is a mirror of our universities. They get also the spirit of our university, and also this part is for us the same important than the excellence in art and science and research.
So it's really very much by design. It's not by chance that you could say, oh, we go outside in nature and we have space there. That is actually an extremely important part of the ISA.
Yes, of course, it's very important that also people do walking, do hiking, talk to each other in a very uncomplicated way and not in a organized discussion lesson. So it's very important that you meet, that you discuss, that you talk. This is very important at ISA.
So in a way, you could also say, we're also obsessed about being efficient and time management and all those things, and I'm sure for musicians that's also important.
Yeah, so being efficient and being high management, you only can be strong if you find to yourself and if you develop as a person. And it is wrong to think, I practice and practice and practice and practice and practice and then I'm great. No, you are only great if you find to yourself, if you are authentic. And this means to become an artist, means to have time enough to become an artist. This is a very important thing. And through the semester, through all these rules from the government, what a university has to do, has to be, and now we get many pressure to that the students get in the right time ready that they finish the start in the right time. I believe this is not really good. I believe artists have to have enough time to become great artists.
Wow, thank you. Thank you very much. Professor Meissl, Johannes, if I may, thanks so much for picking up the chair there. We weren't doing a reverse Erdogan, was it? not giving the man a chair. You're the artistic director of the isa21, and you chose this year's theme, Unlimited. Unlimited, is that an offer? Is that a promise to the students that something's going to happen, something unlimited? Is that a goal to be achieved? Is that a state to arrive at? I'm thinking of Shakespeare here. What's in a name? What's in the word unlimited for you?
To answer that, we have been thinking about fruitful general themes for this summer academy for the last 15 years. And the most important thing is that we pick something that strikes a strong side of what is necessary for everybody to develop, as already mentioned. And so I would answer the question in a way that it is about many levels and layers. Maybe the first impulse was something like despite. Despite all the limitations and restrictions we have been experiencing over the past 16, 17 months, we would love to give it a try and try to come up with a new design of this successful summer academy that we have been running for such a long time. So, despite. Unlimited because we don't accept limits and limitations caused by the pandemic. Secondly, of course, it's about opening and showing the potential to go to one's limits and beyond, to cross boundaries that you would have thought are kind of given, also for all the individual participants, but also in a broader sense that thinking, experiencing between the disciplines, having new impressions and so forth, everything sums up then, if it's digested in the right way, in something that is going beyond your limits of before. And finally, it has to do, of course, also in a kind of geographical or physical way that we want to try this time to really bridge also the gaps that we experience, because still a part of the regular ISA community simply could not come in person. Many participants from Asia or from the Americas could not make it here, so we gave them the opportunity to still be part of ISA by using our digital equipment, and probably we'll come to that a bit later too.
Yeah, so Unlimited is really, in a way, it's a state of mind. It's about using your imagination. So the first point that you mentioned was, in the face of this pandemic, not giving up, not giving in, continuing, finding new ways to work with the situation, then unlocking your potential, going beyond your limits, your current limits, pushing the boundaries, and then also crossing, making bridges between genres, and bringing people together. Yeah. Yes. That makes for a wonderful mix.
And I think the key word you just used was mindset or set of mind, and that's what we want to help to develop in the first place. And effectiveness or efficiency comes from the right steps and the right attitude, as Ulrike already mentioned, and will only really unfold if the attitude is the right one.
Right, because musicians have to have both these things. They have to be incredibly efficient and great at their craft. They have to be able to manipulate their instruments, whatever it is, reliably. and beautifully, but it's not enough just to be efficient. You need that extra breath of fresh air to be able to deliver it beautifully, right? Yeah, so it's all about the mindset, and I'm sure there's some great teachers here to impart that. Yeah, we will continue our talk a little bit later. Thank you so much, Johannes and Ulrike. We'll resume our talk after some more live performances. Crossing bridges, we have an Austrian poet here tonight. Her name is Yasmine Hafet, and she started performing at poetry slams when she was 15 years old. Now she hosts them herself and has become one of Austria's most well-known spoken word poets. She's also an author and a musician. She goes by the name of Yasmo. She made the charts with her rap act, so as a rapper she's known as Yasmo, and was nominated twice for Austria's prestigious Amadeus Award. And so she really regularly transcends genre boundaries. Now here she is. I hope I will see her soon. Yes, I see her coming down. She will perform in German with her take on this year's theme, Unlimited. Ladies and gentlemen, Yasmine Hafet.
Ja, vielen Dank, einen schönen guten Abend. Hello and a very nice evening. I perform in German, but in the poetry slam scene, which is a very international scene, without any borders. We used to say, if you don't understand the poem, feel it, because we believe that you can feel a poem. Und insofern lade ich Sie nun ein, meine Gedichte zu fühlen. Auf Deutsch klingt das einfach komisch. Naja, zum Thema Unlimited. Vielleicht beginne ich mit einem Text, der sich schon von vornherein mit einer Frage beschäftigt, die mir persönlich sehr oft gestellt wird, die ich auch manchmal anderen Leuten stelle und die ich ein bisschen beleuchten möchte. 1. Wo kommst du her? Aus Wien. Ja, aber wo kommst du wirklich her? Aus Wien. Zwischen Verlängerten und Order, zwischen küsst die Hand und in einer Gradfassel gehörst, damit du weißt, was Sau ist, zwischen Gürtel und Ring und Häupel, dem letzten Kaiser Wiens bin ich aufgewachsen, zwischen bunt und bunter, echter Wiener geht nicht unter. 2. In einer Bar. Oder vielleicht doch eher einem Beisel, wo nie Ruhe war, wo man sich im seichten Gespräch kleidet, stehen wir beide mit Smalltalk-Fragen im Repertoire. Wie heißt du? Was machst du? Du magst Hip-Hop? Was geht ab? Wir kennen uns nicht, aber wir wollen das ändern. Diskutieren über Studiengebühren und über übermäßiges Gendern. Wir sind Student und Studentin, Biertrinker und Biertrinkerin, Kneipenrevolutionär und Kneipenrevolutionärin, Gesprächsbereiter und Gesprächsbereiter in diesem abendlichen Austausch an Infos und vielleicht mehr. Und dann fragst du, wo kommst du her? Aus Wien, sage ich. Du blickst wie ein Ungläubiger. Ja, aber wo kommst du wirklich her? Ich komme aus dem Bauch einer Frau, die viel auf Reisen war. Ich komme vielleicht auch aus einem Haus, in dem es immer internationale Speisen gab. Ich komme aus Wien, was dir nicht viel zu verheißen mag. Ich komme aus Wien, was ich mir mit meinem deutschen Akzent zu sagen eigentlich nicht leisten darf. Du denkst, ich habe dich nicht verstanden. Du möchtest eine andere Information. Du möchtest Grenzen ziehen, in einem Land landen. Du möchtest den Namen einer Nation, das ist mir schon klar. Aber zu beantworten ist das schwer. Also fragst du, ja, okay, aber wo kommen deine Eltern her? Gut, das ist von Wien schon etwas weiter entfernt, aber wie gern würde ich sagen, ich habe Wienerisch zwar nicht gelernt, aber kann 3 Melange tragen und dabei unfreundlich sein. Aber das reicht dir nicht als Antwort, also sage ich dir ein, Tunesien und Deutschland, wie ein Mantra, das ich schon so oft wiederholt habe. Tunesien und Deutschland, Tunesien und Deutschland, Tunesien und, obwohl ich dort nie gewohnt habe. Und mir war klar, was als nächstes kam, weil ich schon so oft erlebt habe. Ja, du, in Deutschland, da war ich schon mal und in Tunesien auch mal im Urlaub und dann klar die Frage, ob ich dort schon mal gelebt habe. Urlaub. Habe ich nicht. Aber zu diesen Ländern habe ich meine eigene Geschichte. Also verbindet uns das nicht. Aber lass mich das noch etwas belichten, wie in einer Momentaufnahme aus einem Fotoapparat. Ismi Yasmin, Anet und Sych, Gelimni Belarbi. Du warst dort im Urlaub und es soll mir auch recht sein, aber weder bei meiner Familie noch unter tunesischem Gesetz. Nein, du kennst das Land anders als ich. Du hast deine und ich habe meine Geschichte. Aber deswegen hast du doch gefragt. Genau das wolltest du doch wissen. Diesen einen Kontinent, diesen einen Staat auf deine Gedächtnislandkarte kritzeln und in Deutschland, naja, da waren wir alle schon mal, das ist nicht so interessant. Man fragt nur nach der Herkunft, gibt es in der Antwort die Möglichkeit auf ein exotisches Land. Die Originalität deiner Frage habe ich dir aberkannt und du hast dich enttäuscht abgewandt. 3. Eine Herkunft verlangt immer nach einer Erklärung. Kläre Vererbung und verlange, dass jemand zu dir herkommt. Wer kommt von wo? Herkunft oder doch zieh los, ich zieh los und komm her, aber doch niemals an, weil Heimat etwas ist, von dem ich nur in Bewegung sprechen kann. Und versteht mich nicht falsch, Herkunft ist ein wichtiger Part, aber Zukunft auch, also nicht nur das, was war. Wenn ich zu jemandem gehe, komme ich von jemandem her, aber alles in Bewegung, alles in Verkehr. Und wo kommst du her? Und schon hat man sich wieder verrannt. Wieder Mantra. Tunesien und Deutschland, Tunesien und Deutschland, Tunesien und Deutschland. Ich komme aus Wien und habe mein ganzes Leben hier verbracht. Rede Bundesdeutsch, weil ich es von meiner Mutter nicht anders gelernt habe. Weiß, wie man Couscous richtig kocht und kriege nie einen Sonnenbrand. Ich komme aus Wien, straight out der Josefstadt. Und nur wegen einer Aussprache oder einem Aussehen erkennt man noch keine Herkunft. Denn es gibt einen Unterschied zwischen dem, wo man herkommt und Vererbung. Und dieser Unterschied führt oftmals zu einer unnötigen Bewertung. Und was folgt, ist eine unendlich lange Erklärung. Ja, also meine Mutter, die ist in Deutschland geboren und dann war die ganz viel unterwegs und dann hat die irgendwann, also mein Vater, der ist in Tunesien geboren und dann war der ganz viel unterwegs und dann hat der ja, weißt du, ich habe viele Heimaten und leg mich nicht gern fest. Mag keine Eingrenzung, denn das schafft Ausgrenzung und sowas verletzt. Ich komme aus Wien und bin gern viel unterwegs, von A nach B und durchs ganze Alphabet. Ich komme von woher und gehe wohin und das, was dazwischen liegt, sagt euch, dass ich Wienerin bin. Vielen Dank. Und wenn man sich so dieses Thema vom Unlimited anschaut und sich so ein bisschen schaut, wie weit Menschen auch, oder die Menschheit, gehen wir so weit und nennen es die Menschheit, wie weit die Menschheit kommt, wenn man mal Grenzen vergisst, in welcher Form sie auch stattfinden sollen, dann ist das schon sehr erstaunlich und dann finde ich das ein sehr schönes Motto. Sie kennen sicher das Wittgenstein-Zitat, die Grenzen meiner Sprache sind die Grenzen meiner Welt. Das habe ich ein bisschen ausführen wollen, sagen wir so. Und ich habe noch einen Text mitgebracht, der sich in meinem Fall jetzt natürlich mit Sprache befassen möchte oder befasst. Und wie Sie im ersten Text schon gemerkt haben, wenn man mir Fragen stellt oder wenn es Fragen gibt, die mir sehr oft gestellt werden, dann schreibe ich irgendwann Texte darüber, wenn sie mir auf die Nerven gehen. Und der folgende Text ist auch so entstanden, sagen wir so. Und es ist eigentlich eine Aneinanderreihung an Textbeispielen. Textbeispiel 1. Malte wusste, dass er heute die Frau seines Lebens treffen würde, dass er heute den Mann treffen würde, der ihm den einen Job, den er immer schon haben wollte, verschaffen könnte. Und er wusste auch, dass er dafür jetzt wirklich aus dem Haus gehen sollte und aufhören sollte, How I Met Your Mother zu schauen. Textbeispiel 2. Wie spaltet man ein Atom? Man gibt es einer Frau und sagt, sie soll es nicht kaputt machen. Textbeispiel 3. Yasmine Hafet, 30 Jahre alt, ist Rapperin und Slam-Poetin und wird gefragt, wie es für sie ist, als Frau auf einer Bühne zu stehen. Textbeispiel XX. Ich weiß nicht mehr, ob es gestern oder morgen war. Ich weiß nur noch, dass ich mal dachte, dass es cooler ist, mit dem Burschen abzuhängen, weil mich Schminke nicht interessiert hat und ich lieber den Prinz von Bel-Air geschaut habe als Lassie. Ich fand Tiere irgendwie blöd. Ich weiß noch, dass ich dann immer verwundert war, als ich dann mit den Mädchen doch Polly Pocket gespielt habe und mit den kleinen Figuren nur Party spielen wollte, sie aber Märchenprinz findet Prinzessin spielen wollten und dass die kleinen Figuren nicht auf meinen Spielzeugtraktor gepasst haben und ich das deswegen nicht so interessant fand. Und auf meinem Spielzeugtraktor, da ist Ken immer am Beifahrersitz gesessen und Barbie ist gefahren, bis mich Tatjana aus der Volksschule Gott sei Dank darauf aufmerksam gemacht hat, dass Ken fahren sollte, weil sich Barbie die Nägel kaputt machen könnte. Ich weiß nicht mehr, ob es gestern oder morgen war. Ich weiß nur noch, dass meine Mutter selbstständig war und mein Vater Geschäftsführer, dass beide gekocht haben und auch beide geputzt haben, obwohl mein Papa durchblicken hat lassen, dass er das nicht so gerne macht. Gemacht hat er es aber dann trotzdem. Ich weiß noch, dass ich nach der Scheidung manchmal meiner dann alleinerziehenden Mutter böse war, wenn sie nach einem langen Arbeitstag abends Fernsehen wollte. Fernsehen war dumm und ich war dagegen und vor allem in der Pubertät. Sorry, Mama. Ich weiß noch, als mir letztens ein Freund erzählte, dass er findet, dass seine alleinerziehende Mutter, die 2 Jobs hatte, um ihre 2 Söhne durchzufüttern, einiges falsch gemacht hat, weil als Mutter, da sollte man ja eigentlich schon zu Hause bei den Kindern sein. Dass sein Vater aber einfach abgehauen ist und 10 Jahre später wieder aufgekreuzt ist, das hat ihn nicht gestört. Ich weiß nicht mehr, ob es gestern oder morgen war. Ich weiß nur noch, dass ich die Frauenquote dumm fand, weil ganz ehrlich, wenn man etwas erreichen will, dann muss man hart dafür arbeiten und dann schafft man das auch. Dass das ein grundpatriarchalisches Denkmuster und eine Lüge ist, habe ich mir nicht gedacht. Ich weiß noch, dass mir mein Ex-Freund gesagt hat, dass es für ihn manchmal schwierig ist, weil in meiner Arbeit, da arbeite ich mit vielen Männern zusammen und er hat in seiner Abteilung nur eine Frau, also hat er einen Grund, eifersüchtig zu sein. Dass es meine Entscheidung ist, ob ich ihn betrügen würde oder nicht und nicht die Entscheidung meiner Arbeitskollegen, daran hat er nicht gedacht. Ich weiß nur noch, dass ich den Raum verlasse, sobald ich einen Witz über Frauen auf einer Bühne höre. Sobald ich in einer Frage höre, wie es für mich ist, als Frau auf einer Bühne zu stehen. Und sobald ich eine Geschichte höre, in der Malte rausgeht, um die Frau seines Lebens zu finden und den Mann zu treffen, der ihm den einen Job geben kann. Weil in den meisten Fällen interessiert mich nicht, wovon jemand spricht, denn immer wenn man etwas sagt, sagt man auch etwas nicht. Und genau das interessiert mich. Man kann sich über Randgruppen lustig machen, man kann Frauenwitze machen, man kann Klischees hernehmen, um nichts Neues erfinden zu müssen. Man kann das alles aber auch nicht. Ich weiß nicht mehr, ob es gestern oder morgen war, aber ich weiß, dass es mir reicht. Ich weiß, wie lange ich manchmal an einem Text sitze, wieder streiche und während des Schreibens nachdenke, ob man das überhaupt so sagen kann und vor allem, ob man das überhaupt so denken kann. Ich zerbreche manchmal an Wörtern und an der Welt, denn Sprechen und Sagen impliziert Denken und Taten. Und das Wissen darum möchte ich mir von allen, aber vor allem von PoetInnen erwarten. Was der Pinsel beim Maler ist doch für uns die Sprache. Ist doch Werkzeug, Bindemittel und zugleich Tatsache, dass wir zivilisiert miteinander kommunizieren können. Nur wenn man Vielfalt verliert und durch Sprache Müll reproduziert, dann weiß ich nicht, ob es gestern oder morgen war. Ich weiß nur, Sprechen und Sagen impliziert Denken und Taten. Das hier ist kein Gendertext, keine Moralkeule oder ein lackierter Zeigefinger. Das hier ist ein Text, der versucht, ehrlich zu sein. Und ich weiß nicht mehr, ob es gestern oder morgen war, als ich gefragt worden bin, wie es für mich ist, als Frau auf einer Bühne zu stehen. Ich habe zurückgefragt, ob sie einem Mann diese Frage auch stellen. Sie meinten dann immer, naja, bei denen ist das ja klar. Sprache konstituiert Denken und eben Gesagtes denke ich nicht. Also sage ich es nicht. Und in den meisten Fällen interessiert mich nicht, wovon jemand spricht, denn immer wenn man etwas sagt, sagt man auch etwas nicht. Ich sage euch, wie es sich anfühlt, als Frau auf einer Bühne zu stehen. Man betritt die Bühne, ist nervös, richtet sich den Mikroständer zurecht und trägt dann sein Innerstes nach außen. Im besten Fall hören offene Ohren einem zu und dann sagt man vielen Dank für die Einladung und die Aufmerksamkeit und geht wieder. Dankeschön.
Yasmine. Thank you so much, Yasmine Hafet. That was wonderful. To all of you who couldn't follow this amazing German text, it was really remarkable. She painted so many different pictures with humor, very critical. She talked about Austria, about Vienna, about typical questions she gets asked, being pigeonholed by her ethnic background, being pigeonholed as a woman. It was extremely interesting, and maybe somebody can explain the text to you during the coming ISA festival, because it's really worth knowing what she said. Next, we will hear a piece in the international language of music, and it was written by the Swiss oboist Heinz Holliger. He wrote 3 solo pieces for the bassoon, dedicating each of them to a prestigious player. And the 3rd piece is entitled KLAUS-UR, which is a reference to Klaus Thunemann. He was a longtime chamber music colleague of Heinz Holliger. And this is a play on words because KLAUS-UR is the German word for secluding yourself, for example, when you're studying, but it's also the word for a serious exam. This piece was written for a serious exam for the 2002 ARD competition, the International Music Competition, and Holliger included every imaginable difficulty or virtuoso fun, depending on which way you look at it, that you can have with this instrument. And I'd like to welcome a young German bassoonist who is going to perform this solo for us this evening. She studies with Dag Jensen at the University of Music and Performing Arts, Munich. Welcome. This is Anna Ernst. Thank you so much, Anna Ernst. That was an amazing performance. I have to say the music, the sheet music, looked scary to me from here. And I heard some noises. I don't think I've ever heard those tones from an instrument before. Talk about experimenting and pushing boundaries and being unlimited. Heinz Holliger certainly was, and so was Anna Ernst. Now I'd like to resume the talk with the two of you. With Rector Sych. Ulrike, we've already seen an incredible display of creativity tonight. This festival, of course, promises more to come in the coming weeks, despite the circumstances. We all know what they are. You led the MDV through a really challenging year this past year. But looking back, are there some moments that you're really proud of in this year?
Yes, this year was, as you can imagine, really tough. And I'm not proud of what we did. I'm very grateful and thankful. I'm grateful, first of all, that we are about 5,000 university members, so 4,000 something. I'm very grateful that nobody died on Corona, that everybody who was very sick, everybody survived till today, and this was my greatest challenge being a rector, to protect all students and university members. And I'm very thankful and grateful to all people who helped the rectorate that we could keep the excellence of the university. You must imagine, within 1 week, we had to transfer the whole university, art, research, Verwaltung.
Administration.
Yes, sorry, administration. We had to transfer them everything into digital formats, and we tried very hard to get back very soon to present teaching, because art education, you have to have the personal interact between teacher and student, and I'm very grateful that the university bodies, the board of the university, the senate of the university, the rectorate, the students' union, the representatives of the students, we work together with one voice, and I think this is very special, and this is also what our university stands for. Everybody helped, and so we could really give our students the best possibilities to go through this pandemic till today. I'm grateful and want to express my respect to our students. You cannot imagine how hard it is to study in a pandemic. And I'm very impressed that they kept the fire for art, for music, and did not give up, although the circumstances were very hard for them. And you must imagine there is also the hard situation for them if they look in the future. All the culture institutions worldwide closed. The auditions were closed. The orchestras didn't do auditions. So for the students, it was really frustrating to study something and not being sure if you can work as a musician. You don't know how this pandemic will develop, and therefore, yes, I really have to repeat, I respect our students. I will express my respect for them. And the third really hard thing was for all of us, and we were very surprised and I think also hurt. I mean, as a rector of the world's largest university for music and performing arts, it was for me a big surprise that the politics worldwide did not see that culture and art is system relevant. And for our young musicians and artists, also filmmakers and actors and pedagogues and whatever they study, this was also a huge challenge to stay in the study and still stay in the decision, I want to become an artist and I want to be a professional. And so, yeah, I think we did a good job, and I really want to thank my rectorate and everybody who helped our teachers and everybody. We had a tough time, but it made us stronger because we have a huge cohesion to each other. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those words. I think it's important it's very interesting the way you said it, with humility and with gratitude for the things that you were able, or the team was able to achieve, the students were able to continue despite the situation. But yeah, you're right. Of course, one has to put it into perspective. It's no moment to celebrate now, but a moment to try and stay focused on this unlimited goal. So I think probably that is extremely important now, especially now in the summer, to get fresh energy.
Right. And we don't know how it will develop, so we hope that we can stay in the status we are now, to keep the present lessons, the present teaching in art and in science and research. We hope that we can go on like this. But of course, the health has to be the first decision. And so
that was going to be my next question. You basically already answered it. But do you have maybe one piece of advice for music students around the world? How to get through this time? Is there one thing you can say?
Yeah, I want to say them that a pandemic does not last forever. The virus will stay. Of course, the virus will last. But I think we arrived now in a new normality. And we have to learn with this, to live with this virus and keep on. And I want to ask everybody to be aware of the responsibility to each other and to everything, to protect the own life, but also protect the life of the people I meet and I have to work with, I have to make music with. And this means take the vaccine, be careful, and I think the world will make it. I'm an optimistic person, and our university proved that you can live with this and go on and stay in the excellence.
Thank you very much for those emotional words. Johannes, last year's ISA took place digitally, as we know. This year, you've chosen a hybrid approach for the isa21. What does that entail? And how has the ISA evolved to meet, the needs of these trying times? How do you work with the students nowadays? What do you do with them?
Well, in a way, I think ISA reflects a bit of the newly acquired and learned situation that we have somehow got accustomed to. And what we have here, what you can see also with tonight's setup and equipment, we try to integrate the best possible equipment we have to make use of what was imposed on us a year ago, a bit more than a year ago, to actually expand our options and possibilities. So also in this respect, we see this year's ISA in this designed hybrid format once more as a experimental laboratory for trying out things, how we can be together here in physical presence up to a very high extent, how to manage, by the way, to not get a problem infection-wise, but at the same time include artists, people who either want to participate and take lessons, or who normally would come to us, but because of the situation cannot come in physical presence and will still be teachers, full teachers at this year's academy. So this is a challenge. Apart from bridging the continents, making up for the problem that people cannot travel from the States without, or from Asia or from Australia, without having impossible quarantine periods, either coming here or then returning. That's the problem. Not that it's impossible to travel, but
It's not very practical.
It's not very practical. So we want to bridge this. That's the one thing, and the other thing is also to try out in how far we can integrate the hybrid formats even within ISA, because ISA is spread over a whole region, and of course bringing people together in workshops and lectures requires quite much shuttling people back and forth. And of course we are also aware of trying to open possibilities without having cars going back and forth all the time. So
maybe let's let the audience hear in a little bit on some of those practical details of what we're doing. So, for example, tonight's event, of course, is being streamed and watched by students around the world. It's also being watched by some students that I met in Semmering and in Peierbach, for example. We will see them a little bit later. And so the people performing here have the opportunity to perform for a live audience. We can welcome a live audience, of course, with all the safety measures in place. Thank you so much for wearing your masks in this heat. We really appreciate that. So we have a live audience, a small audience. We're communicating with a broader audience across the stream, and yeah, we're just using all the things that we have.
And of course, I mean, we are still in a learning period in how far it really is possible to combine face-to-face physical presence and digital being connected, which is meant actually by what we call hybrid. And at the same time, we don't want to lose the great achievements we actually had last year when we had to go thoroughly digital. So we will keep up the expanded formats and the expanded also reach that we actually could manage. So I hope everybody is happy with with being in a laboratory again.
Talking about having fun or being happy with something, I'd like to talk about the region a little bit. We started talking about the history of the region, but let's mix it up with a bit of fun here. I visited the Semmering this lunchtime, some hours ago, this afternoon, where the string players are housed. And I met some young musicians from China, Israel, Germany, France, and Austria. And let's have a look at that right now, what happened this afternoon. Let's have a look. So we're out here literally singing in the rain, and I want to know from my new friends who are going to start the isa21 soon, how they're feeling. How do you feel?
非常期待.
Ich freue mich riesig.
J'ai hâte. Smecha. Ich freue mich total.
Freude überall und die Sonne kommt raus. So the last one was Viennese Austrian, of course. We had Chinese, Hebrew, Berlinerisch, and French as well. This region has been an inspiration for many musical minds. Johannes, what inspires you about these locations, and what do you think could inspire students from around the world?
One thing, of course, is this already mentioned historical dimension. You get totally in awe, realizing who spent time here and who somehow also contributed to the magic of the region. I think it's very much also about not only looking back into the greatness of history, but also just thinking of what came into life over the past 30 years when we had Isa here with so many young people who then, many of them, made a great professional way and really could find a very nice career for themselves, and many personal encounters, many connections led to further steps in their development. And as already mentioned, I think this combination of being, as a matter of fact, a place where new things can come to life, and this incredible environment also of nature makes it just really, really great, and everybody who comes here normally wants to come back.
You know what? I was in Peierbach after I was at Semmering, and I met some brass and woodwinds players, and I asked them about their expectations for this year's ISA. So let's have a look at what they said to me there. So I've got one flutist and 3 oboists here. And Angela, you just arrived. Do you have any musical goals for the isa21?
Yes, of course, there are many goals, and there is interesting thing, which is like that there are so many workshops here and projects, let's say. So I'm really happy to take part in this and somehow mix all this. Okay, because for master courses I will play my solo things, and there are chamber music workshops and some improvisation courses. So I'm really interested in to see in the end how it will be, how I will pack it together.
To get stuck in, basically.
Yeah, somehow. Yeah.
Now, Mavi, you're from Italy. We're in the mountains here. I mean, you might be familiar with that back in Italy, but are you looking forward to doing some hiking or some sports here as well, or just music?
I was really pleased with the fact that we are here in such a beautiful place, because I really would like to have some walks and discover a bit the place and enjoy the music, but at the same time enjoy the location.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. I hope so. Andres, you traveled from America, from the States. Are you looking forward to exploring Viennese playing style somehow? Is that something you want to do?
Oh yes, 100%. I got here a couple days early to Vienna and spent a couple days there and got to see a lot of things. And this is totally different, and it's so beautiful, so I can't wait to get to know the town and the mountains.
So, okay, we're immersed in Austrian culture, but Alexis, what about the musical style? Is that something that you are going to look into, like musical phrasing or something that's like Viennese? Is that?
Yeah, that's kind of something that I was really looking forward to at this whole festival, was seeing the different ways of playing, like the oboe or like the flute, any kind of instrument, and just like making that sound like bigger, or any kind of like phrasing that's different from American style. It's just like what I'm looking forward to.
Yep, that's it. Great expectations.
May I add something?
Yes.
Yeah, because of course we didn't actually go into anything of the content of the many workshops. So it's just another invitation for everybody who is here to see what we have in our offer, and to try to arrange the schedule during these upcoming 2 weeks in a way that everybody can take in as much as possible. Made easier partly by the hybrid participation format. And of course, I would love to also address that within this whole complex of unlimited, there is also a part of opening limits of regular repertoire confinements. And the next thing that is coming up tomorrow night is a performance with composers made accessible through Exilarte. And I think this will be a very, very thrilling workshop for quite many participants who signed up, and great encounters with music that is not actually brand new, but not that old also, and
Not so well known.
not so well known, or partly not known at all. And also this is a part of opening all old boundaries.
Absolutely. No, there's a huge, there's so many things on offer in the next 2 coming weeks. Music of exiled composers, Alfred Brendel is coming and coaching. There's jazz. Oh my God, crossing the boundaries. There's the Film Academy screening. Yeah, there's just so many fun and interesting things available here. And we still have some more live performances. We have one more live performance. So I'd like to say thank you at this point to both of you, Ulrike and Johannes.
May I just
Of course.
add one thing?
Yes.
Because the last piece we are going to hear, you will announce the
Oh,
piece.
yes.
But I would like to remind everybody that we had the big pleasure 11 years ago to host Krzysztof Penderecki for a week here at ISA. So it's not just the guys from the 19th and early 20th century. It's an ongoing thing, and also all the composers who always come for our composition courses. They are the big shots of our times. So Tristan Murail, Michael Jarell this year, Georg Friedrich Haas was here. So everybody is coming here.
It's
This I
living,
wanted.
breathing
Yes, this I
culture.
wanted. Yes.
It's alive. Thank you so much to both of you. So you heard it, Krzysztof Penderecki was here, the man himself, and he wrote the next piece that you're going to hear this evening. He wrote it for cello solo, and he dedicated it to Mstislav Rostropovich, who is known as Slava to his friends, and Krzysztof Penderecki is one of his friends. Per Slava was written in 1985, and I think it's a great piece to exemplify this year's theme. Simply because the composer chose to annotate the music without bar lines, so he was encouraging the performer to shape the flow of this piece as they wish. Penderecki also incorporated an homage to Bach, or Bach as he's known here. The interval structure is built around his name, translated into the German note system, represented by B flat, A, C, and B natural, or Ha in German. Per Slava is now played for you by a young Spanish cellist. He studies with Jérôme Pernot at the Conservatoire in Paris. Let's all welcome Carlos Vidal. Thank you, Carlos Vidal. Now the Eröffnungsfest is drawing to a close, and I'd like to once more say thank you to Johannes and Ulrike for opening the isa21 festival. I'd also like to thank once again the province of Niederösterreich and all our partners and supporters for your commitment to the isa21. This year's ISA Festival is dedicated to breaking down barriers, to going beyond convention, to being unlimited, as you heard today. And today's stream ends with a film that questions ethnic stereotyping in the movie industry. This Austrian short was produced by the Film Academy, which is part of the many diverse departments of the University of Music and Performing Arts Vienna. Triumph des Schauspielers, which translates as the actor's triumph, tells the story of Erkan, a German actor of Turkish descent. He's sick and tired of being pigeonholed as the generic foreign terrorist. Those are the roles he gets offered, whilst his colleague David, who is white, gets much more interesting roles. One day, Erkan hears about an audition for a movie about Leni Riefenstahl. He immediately wants to be part of it. Since none of his friends are willing to support him, he has to get creative in his quest to get a role as a Nazi. Or who knows, maybe he'll even snag the role of the Führer.